y'all, this is Leslie. I want to share something with you guys, and I feel like I've kind of danced around the topic or like hinted at it, but I haven't actually given like the full on story, I don't believe. So I want to do it today. And it's funny because last week, okay, so first let me say this. I want to talk about a friend. Okay? Someone who was a friend. and I keep coming back, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I need to talk about this, or I need to get this whole thing out. And I think number one, why I haven't really wanted to, or I have been putting it off, is because I know I'm not healed of this thing yet, but at the same time, maybe healing will come through talking about it, through sharing it, because I'm still very much at a place where I'm kind of like, every dog has its day. Don't worry about that individual. Don't worry about these people. Like, God's got it, right? But then I'm still on the other side. I'm like, it's on sight. Y'all know what that mean? Like, it's on sight. Cause I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I see this individual, I know that I'm like, don't be fleshly, Leslie, don't be fleshly, okay? But I'm gonna just be real with y'all. If I see this person, and glory be to God, I haven't seen this person, I feel like it's gonna be on sight. I know that I'm gonna have to suppress the feeling to want to take that head off, okay? Some in me want to Goliath this one. I want to Goliath this chick. And what I mean by that is I want to, it ain't just a slingshot, because if you remember, David didn't just hit him with the smooth stone, okay? After that, yeah, he was dead, but after that, he said, okay, he took that head off. I want to take that head off. Okay, so let me stop. Okay, so I want to talk about the fact that the person who I thought was my very best friend was a very integral part of my ex-husband's betrayal. Okay, so and I'm not gonna give names or anything. Sometimes I be wanting to say it, and the folks' name is, and then I'm like, but what would that prove? And it's unnecessary. Anyway, I'm not gonna give names. That's too much. But anyhow, so I met her when I was 15 years old. So we met in high school. We ran track together. And of course we had, several other friends together and things like that. And that's another reason. Let me stop. Sorry. I feel like I'm always so here, there, and everywhere. But another reason why I know I need to go ahead and share this now is because last week I saw a woman who was also a very close friend during that time, and I haven't seen her in a long time. And when I saw her, because we were all friends together, it jogged my memory about, like, oh, I need to tell this friend's story, okay? And then today I'm leaving an appointment, or I was going to an appointment that I'm just leaving now, and I saw another friend who was in that close circle of friends at that time. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, again, hits me like, I need to tell this. Anyhow, I need to tell this. Okay, so when I'm 15, I meet her, and we run track together or whatever. So I've known her since I was 15 years old. We became really close. I was at her house, she was at my house, our families were very close, the whole thing. I thought that this was going to be somebody who I would be friends with for the rest of my life, okay? That's just, what I assumed. Anyhow, let me see. So she was in my wedding. She was my one of my bridesmaids, along with my sister and a cousin. I wasn't in her wedding because it was just her and her husband. They're still married as far as I know. It was just the two of them. They didn't have bridesmaids or groomsmen or anything like that. But of course I was there. She was there when I delivered, I think, if not all three, I think two, at least two. I know she was there for the first one when I delivered my first baby. I was there, I think, for all three of hers. I believe I was there for all three of hers. Or the last one, I'm not sure, but I know I was there for the first two. Okay, I was, my ex-husband and I were the godparents to her three children. Her husband has children previous to their marriage, so I wasn't, you know, theirs, but I was to her 3 girls. Loved her girls, loved them. We were close for a very long time. She's the one who actually I don't want to say completely introduced me to Christ, because I knew who Christ was before she came along or anything like that, but she introduced me to the church that I'm currently at. So let me see, I believe she started going to the church when she was around 16, and I wasn't thinking about church then, okay? I didn't actually start going to the church until I was 23, and she had been asking me to come to the church, and I was like, whatever. And she was telling me how she was so close with the church family and all that type of stuff like that. So it wasn't my forte, because I'm gonna just be honest with you, I was in the club. I started clubbing when I was 15 years old, okay? I live in Las Vegas, lots of clubs here, and lots of lax rules. You can do, you know, when people say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so all that type of stuff, you can do whatever you want to do. I started clubbing when I was 15, secretly, of course, but I did. Nonetheless, I was a club head from 15 until about 22, 23. And the sad thing is, I had been clubbing for that amount of time. I had done it so much, because I had to go to the club weekly. Okay, the weekends I had to be in the club, and if something was going on through the week, depending on what it was, I had to be in the club. I was just obsessed. I just loved it. I just needed it. And it wasn't even so much like I was up in there trying to get hit on and picked up on. I just wanted to dance, and I wasn't even really like a big drinker or anything. Maybe on occasion I would drink, but I wanted to dance. I wanted to be seen. I had another friend. This friend that I'm talking about, she would go to the clubs with me too sometimes, but for the most part, it was I and another friend, okay? Oh goodness, I feel like I have to give some type of name or something, not a name, but just so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the one who I had been friends with since the time I was 15, and quite honestly, I met all these people around the same time. We'll call her G, okay? So G was really into church, and she decided that she wasn't going to go to the clubs anymore, and she wasn't going to hang out with us anymore, unless, you know, we decided to give our lives to the Lord, because that's the direction she was going in. And we was like, oh girl, whatever, bye, I don't care, and then you don't be friends, whatever. So we kind of it's not that we weren't friends, but we just weren't hanging out tough for a couple of years or whatever, as we were doing our thing still out there in the world that she didn't want to be. And I remember G gave my other friend, who is the lady who I just saw when I was leaving an appointment, for her 21st birthday, G gave her, and we'll call her T. She gave T a Bible, and I remember we just laughed and laughed and laughed. Foolish, just absolutely foolish. We just laughed, because why would you give somebody a Bible for their 21st birthday? We going to the club, we turning up, we going to the strip club, and that's exactly where we went. And she, of course, didn't go with us, because that wasn't her lifestyle anymore, okay? So fast forward a little bit, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, it's like God took the taste, the addiction to the club out of my mouth, out of me. All of a sudden, I just didn't want to go anymore. I just, like cold turkey, stopped going to the club. And my friends, T and another one, I'll call her C, they were like, you know, what's wrong with you? Or like, why all of a sudden? They thought that, you know, I didn't want to hang out with them anymore. It was just all of a sudden God just started to change me, okay? I don't know why, other than if he's God, he does what he wants. But I just began to have like a hunger for God. So I stopped clubbing, just cold turkey, and I started to attend the church that G went to, okay? It was exactly what I needed. I found a home, I found a community, I found people that I loved, the people loved me. You know, I'm not going to act like I was perfect off the bat, or I just turned away from all of my sins and I just became a devout believer and follower of Christ. No, I still had a whole lot of chains and stuff that had to be broken off of me. And these people were so loving and supportive, and just allowed me to go through, you know, the process of God removing a lot of different things from me. And so I began to just become very involved in church, okay? And that was 2009 when I gave my life to Christ. So at 23, I gave my life to Christ. Throughout this process, let's say at 22. Yes, 22 is when I met my now ex-husband. I met him at a club. Okay, this is what I'm telling you. I stayed up in the club. It was looking back, it was ridiculous, but that's where I was at that point in my life, and I loved it. I ain't gonna lie, I loved it. Okay, I lived for it, lived for the sin. You see what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you ain't lived for the sin at one point in your life. Like, you was out here doing any and everything, or just cutting up, acting a plumb fool. That's what I was doing. Okay. Then when I finally met a man named Jesus, finally gave my life over to him. And the funny thing is, it's not that I didn't know who Christ was, because I would leave the club and go to church with my grandma. I would take my grandmother to church. I'd be like, okay, well, I guess if I can sit up at the club half the night, I guess I'll take my grandma to church in the morning, blah, 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 on Sunday or whatever. So I would leave the club at like 3 in the morning, go home, go to sleep for a couple hours, and then get up and go to take her to church. And I believe that's when he kind of started to prick my heart. I was like, I'm not going to her church like that. Like, I'm not joining, but I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take her to church or whatever. Little seeds were being planted. So eventually I ended up going to the church with G. Okay. Everything's lovely. Everything's great. Before I started going to church, like I said, at 22, I met my ex-husband at the club. We just simply became friends. I knew that he was interested in me. I was absolutely 100%, 1000% not interested in him. And I'm just being honest. I was not interested in him. He wasn't my type, okay? He was just... It was God that had me give him my phone number, because I was not interested at all. And I was like, why did I even give him my phone number? I know I don't like him. I know I'm not attracted to him. I know I'm not going to whatever. He called me. We talked. He was a really nice guy. We became friends. We were friends for 7 years before we ended up actually starting to date. 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Okay. So finally, when he and I started to date, I think I was around... I feel like I feel like I can't add, y'all, but I promise you, I know I'm off somewhere in the numbers, but nonetheless, in 2012, he and I started dating, and he started coming to the church with me. He was going to a church with his grandfather, and then he decided he was going to start coming to church with me. The people at the church loved him. He quickly became a member and an integral part of things as well, and was with the pastor, and was working in ministry and all of that. We ended up getting married 2013. G, the friend, was my bridesmaid. He had a couple of friends who were his groomsmen, blah blah blah, all that. G and her husband ended up getting married the year after. We're like all in ministry together. We're growing together. We're going. We're babies are being born. We're godparents. I throw her first baby shower. And mind you, she didn't even want to be pregnant. She got pregnant like right away after they got married. She doesn't want to be pregnant. She's mad. She's pissed, to be quite honest, or whatever. And I was the one who actually wanted to be pregnant, but it wasn't happening for me. I was not jealous of her, okay? I was just like, God, how is it that someone who doesn't want to be pregnant and is mad about it is pregnant, and I'm over here and you gave me a promise of pregnancy and I can't get pregnant? So I realized, let me stop my complaining and let me celebrate those that are. And so I threw her a baby shower. And then another young lady was pregnant at the same time of her. It was a group of like 6 of them. They were all pregnant, and I'm sitting over here by myself like, well, I'm not pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant. So I threw a second baby shower, and it was like I'm just gonna celebrate those that have have achieved, I guess, if you will, or are experiencing what it is that I want to experience, and I'm gonna let God work, and this thing's gonna happen for me. And sure enough, that's what happened. Okay, so life is lovely. This is my BFF. I think things are going great or whatever, and at the same time, I'm having kids, she's having kids, so we're not as close as we were. Like, we would do things, bring the kids together. We wanted the kids to kind of be raised like their family and all that stuff. But like, I'm living my life, she's living her life. We're still talking and all that stuff, but we have mom duties now, so we can't just be all up in each other's face. We have wife duties and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, we would get together from time to time and stuff, all of us collectively, or go to their place, or they would come to our place. But let's be real, when your responsibilities change, you don't always have time to sit up in your friends' faces. And she was a person who I felt understood that. or maybe I was wrong. But like, you got your husband, I got mine. We got things we got to do. We both in ministry. We see each other at church, all that. It was still all like a whole family and community in my mind. But maybe the relationship wasn't being fostered enough. But what I also know now, and God kept trying to show me and I was not listening to, was the fact that she was actually jealous of me. And I was like, this doesn't make sense, God. Like, we're in the same place. I'm married, she's married. She's got kids, I've got kids. We both literally, we went to college, we went to high school together, we went to college together. We worked at the same place together for a few years. Like, our lives were very much intertwined. And so to me, it didn't make sense why she would ever be, this is me again, okay? Y'all understand, this is me and my little bad brain. Why would she be jealous of me? I'm not jealous of her. She's my friend. I love her. She loves me. But there were things that the Lord has shown me throughout the years. She has been jealous. She's jealous of my family life. She's jealous of, I was able to buy a house. Now, would she celebrate these things with me? Yeah, she would always be there and celebrating, but there was always some underlying jealousy or something. And I was like, God, this just doesn't, I just couldn't understand it, and it just didn't, I refused to accept it, okay? So we move forward, and there are a few little differences in our lives, like the fact that, my ex and I, neither one of us had children. And that was such, to me, that was something that I was glad about. Like, we didn't have children outside of each other, because I thought, like, that's a lot of drama, to be quite honest. I know that things can work. I know that, blended families can work very well. The man that she married had 3 kids outside of their marriage. At the time when they got married, she only knew about 1. So I just didn't want the headache of a blended family. And the one that she did know of was drama. So, not saying just their situation, but just what I had seen through life of people who had blended families, it just seemed like it was a lot of baby mama drama. That's what I was seeing, okay? I didn't know that how beautiful it could also be. I just saw the bad in the situation, because that's what was presented to me. So it wasn't something that I wanted. But I kind of feel like different things like that made her feel a kind of way. Like maybe I thought I was better than because of that. Your situation is your situation. You married him just as I married him, and what you got going on has nothing to do with what I have going on. And I'm not belittling or putting anybody down, because if that's who God says is your person, that's your person. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But so over time, little things would happen and I would ignore them. So let's fast forward, okay? Through the pandemic and things like that. Sorry, I'm cracking my knuckles. Through the pandemic and things like that, I would see them less and less. I was going through my own thing, and I probably wasn't being the best friend that I could be and checking in on her and making sure that she was where she needed to be or whatever. I was going through, and I was just trying to survive, okay? I'm not making an excuse, but that's what it was for me, okay? I had started an online business. She had started an online business before me. She was further in hers, and I was very happy for her. I wasn't jealous about anything that was going on for her. She would tell me all the good things that she had going on, and I was like, I'm happy for you, because the goal for both of us was to be able to be stay-at-home moms, have our businesses, and not have to go back to where we used to work together. We didn't want to ever go back there or whatever. So I'm thinking, we are kind of on the same page mentally or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she kept making reference to this one lady and saying that how she was her biz bestie. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I didn't think much of it, because I wasn't yet in business for myself yet. So I was like, that's good. You found somebody who you can talk to about this stuff, because I didn't know anything about it, And but it just kept being presented as if like, yes, she's my bestie and I can talk to her about anything and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, okay. And some things kind of go over my head at times, because I don't care. Because I'm gonna just be honest with you, when I don't care, it's like, okay, whatever. And so I was just kind of like, I don't care. Like, we've grown. Can't we both have like friends? Like, I have other friends or whatever. I don't know, child, but it just kept being presented. So time goes on, and finally we get to the place where in 2021 my marriage is downhill, things are bad, things are falling apart, and I'm thinking that this is my friend and I can talk to her about this or whatever, what I'm going through. So I'm letting her know, like, we're in a bad place, we're gonna get therapy or whatever, blah blah blah. And you know, she's speaking to me, she's talking to me, speaking life into me and my situation and things. Look, y'all, I'm doing this into my situation and things like that. And I remember her and I went to eat, just to kind of like talk about things, and you know, she's checking in on me or whatever, blah blah blah. And I remember at the end of the night, because she had picked me up and she drops me up back home, and she was like, I'm sitting in the thing, and we're in her car and we're talking, and she's like, oh my gosh, I feel like there's a demon in you that's trying to choke me, that's trying to choke the life out of me. And I'm like, what? Huh? Now at this point, I'm dag near insane, okay, y'all. I'm not mentally well. And for someone who I thought was my friend to say something like this to me, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I know I'm probably so possessed. Y'all have to understand, I was not at all in a good place. I went from being someone who worked in deliverance, doing deliverance ministry on others, to full-blown needing deliverance. And not that we didn't need it throughout life anyway, but when I tell you, I felt like I was so oppressed and possessed at this point. And when she told me that, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I need deliverance, I don't know, I'm not. She's like, yeah, it's like a demonic spirit is coming up out of you and it's trying to choke the life out of me right now. I feel it. And I believe what she said. So I'm like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm sorry. And I go in the house and I'm starting to pray, and I'm thinking, you would have thought I was Roman Catholic, doing the penitence to myself, feeling like, oh my God, I'm trying to kill my own best friend. This is how demonic and evil I am. Because remember, my ex-husband is basically telling me the same thing. This is your fault that we're getting a divorce, and the kids are gonna know this is where mommy ended our relationship, our marriage, and ended our family, and you're gonna be. This is things that this man is really told me. Okay, as he was leaving. You and your mother and your sister are going to be alone, all by yourselves in this house. The kids are going to resent you. I had a dream that this is man of God, this is pastor. I had a dream that the kids hated you and resented you because they remembered what you did, and they're going to resent you for this. And I internalized everything he said. Talk about, remember, if you listened to my video yesterday, I told you I was suicidal. All of these things at once. I'm going through my own stuff, trying to work through my own depression. At this point, I'm in therapy, but when the people who are closest to you, the people who you believe are your friends and those that love you and have been in your life for years and years are telling you stuff like this, of course you're gonna believe it, because I'm thinking these people know me best. If something is wrong with me, they see it. They know exactly what's going on. They're not gonna lead me astray, child. So he leaves or whatever, and she's still here and there, like checking on me, trying to see. She's playing a role, is what I came to realize. Okay. Anything that I'm telling her, her and her husband are going, and this is, remember, this is G. They're going back and telling him. They are all in cahoots. I don't know it at this time. At this time, I was completely oblivious to it. But when he left me, he was already cheating, right? He was already in a full-blown relationship with the woman that he is now married to. I did not know that woman was friends with my supposed best friend. Now, I had seen on social media that she was G was getting her lashes done by his now wife. Okay, and I knew that he was friends with this woman because he would tell me that she was his sis, right? They were on some sis and bro terms, right? And she's just a friend, and he used to talk bad about her. Tell me that this woman is your friend, but then talk bad about her and her sister or whatever. Now, nobody knows at this point that I've caught on to the fact that my best friend and that sis, now wife, are friends. I don't say a word. I just filed it in my Rolodex, okay? And so I just keep my mouth shut. I'm still going through a lot anyway. So he leaves, and the Lord begins to tell me something's going on with him and old girl, such and such. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, he told me that she was just sis. Like, nothing's going on. Wake up, girl. So the Lord keeps telling me. Finally, it is 100% confirmed through my children, because he was taking my children on play dates with her and her child and not saying a word about it to me. And this was even happening when we were still living in the same house, and I had absolutely no clue. And he tried to lie about it, but the kids kept saying we were playing with such and such, the little girl, I don't want to say her name. We were playing with her, and I was like, oh, okay, and I didn't pay any attention. And finally, another time they say it, and my sister was like, that's such and such's daughter. Whatever you think has been going on, something is going on. So that's when the confirmation comes in, right? So I don't say anything, okay? I pretty much cut communication for the most part with G, the friend, okay? The longtime friend. I'm not telling her too much anymore. She would contact me here and there, and she's like, what's going on? I haven't heard from you enough, whatever. I'm like, I'm just kind of, keeping to myself or whatever. But, I have some women that that I'm talking to that I feel like are pouring into me and that I can trust and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, okay. And so come April of 2022, April of 2022, I have a birthday party for my daughter, and my ex is there, of course, and it's at my house, and I invite G and her husband and their 3 daughters, because at this point, we're not completely falling out or anything, and I don't know the true total story of what's going on, but I know something's going on. And so they all come to the house, and I'm just paying attention and stuff like that. Now, mind you, prior to this, I was on a phone call with G and her biz bestie, right? We were just gonna all get on the phone and just kind of like talk about the different things we were doing and see how we could help each other, or just like encourage each other, stuff like that, right? And I get on the phone, and I hear G talking bad about me, and to the friend never says a word, okay? Never says a word about me. She's just listening. And that friend, her biz bestie, was always very kind to me. I don't have anything bad to say about her. If she was talking about me, I didn't hear it, I don't even care. All I know is I don't have any ought with her about anything, because I just don't, and I don't feel like it. For what? Like, I don't care. I know who I heard talking about me. The person who's supposed to be my friend since 15, BFFs, we're besties. You sitting on this phone talking about me, okay? And I'm just listening. And then when she realized I was on the phone, because it was like I feel like it was a Zoom or something, I don't know. But when she realized that I was on the phone, then she got quiet, didn't say a word, and then tried to like change the conversation. And I didn't say a word. I was just like, okay. I know I heard her talking about me, but maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, so I don't say anything at all about it. So then, fast forward to the birthday. The birthday is in April, and they all come to my house or whatever, and they all acting like normal or whatever. And my ex is sitting up there acting like, he king of the castle, and me and him, it's almost a wrap completely. I had been praying and holding on. I had been praying and fasting and hoping that, standing for this thing. And I don't believe that God ever told me to stand for it. And he himself, my ex, told me, like, if you're gonna pray for this or whatever, you on your own, because I'm done or whatever. But I'm still trying to be a dutiful wife, and believing that this is the person who God has for me. So this is who God told me was my husband. So I'm gonna continue to, pray and fight and fast for this thing or whatever. Child, anyway, make sure that when you're standing, God has actually told you to stand, and it's not just your flesh holding on to things because of shame or fear or doubt or worry and all the things. So I was so double-minded, so unstable in all my ways. But nonetheless, sometimes you don't understand or know the totality of a thing until after the fact. So it is what it is. So they come over, they're having a birthday. We're having the birthday. We're having a good time. My mother is talking to G, the ex-friend, and she didn't understand something that G was saying. They're laughing, they're talking, and G was saying something about me again. And my mom didn't understand what she was saying. She's like, huh? She's like, are you talking about Leslie? What? And she was like, no, I'm not talking about Leslie. Leslie never does anything wrong. And I heard her. I happened to walk in the room right as she said that. And I was like, huh? And I just kind of looked and I let it go. And my mom was kind of like, huh? And so nobody really said anything. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to back away from this situation. I need to focus on myself and just leave this alone. So after they left or whatever, I really didn't have too much communication with her, and for about a month or so. So I got a call from her in June after I had gone ahead and contacted a lawyer to get, for my own safety in the divorce proceedings, because by this point, when I hear from G again, my ex had given me paperwork from his lawyer to start the divorce proceedings, and I thought that it had been filed and everything, right? So I contacted a lawyer because I didn't know what was going on and I needed help with all navigating this stuff. Okay, so I've gone through that with the lawyer. She's calling to get the lowdown to find out and see. I haven't heard from you much, and last thing you told me was that you had some women that you were that you felt you could trust and could talk to and whatever, and that's great or whatever. But I feel like I'm not getting what I need as a friend, basically, blah, blah, blah. Turn it around on me. Oh, and I forgot, at the birthday party, at the end of the birthday party, she confronted me. She's like, can we go to the side and talk or whatever? And she basically has this conversation with me, for the first time in person, where she's saying, like, I feel like I haven't heard from you and I'm not getting what I need as a friend, and you said you had some people that you felt like you could trust, and that's great. Literally does this. That's great. I'm so happy for you that you have people that you can trust, these women that you can trust. That's awesome. But I just want to see, like, how you're doing and everything, and just make sure everything's good. It was a very fake conversation, and I kept it very yeah, I'm good. Yeah, like, everything's good. He and I are, going our separate ways, I guess, but, blah, blah, blah. I left it short with her. I didn't want to give her too much information, because by this time I'm realizing that she's reporting back to him. Whatever I'm saying, I know she's going to give him that information, and sure enough. And so then when it gets to June and she contacts me with the same sad love song, okay, saying the same thing, whatever, I was just like, you know what, I don't trust you. That's why I don't talk to you. That's why I don't share anything with you, and this is probably the end of us. I didn't give her any specifics. I didn't tell her that I knew that she was friends with with the now wife. I didn't tell her anything. She didn't need to know nothing. All I just told her was, I do not trust you. Well, oh my God, I don't know what I've done. I'm so sorry. Anything that I've ever done to hurt you or offend you, I'm sorry. It was never my intention. I hope that we can talk again at a later time, maybe when you're feeling better or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, just know that I'm here for you and I'm supporting you and blah, blah, blah. I ain't talked to the girl since, because I don't have a desire to talk to her about anything. There's nothing that we need to discuss. Like, the relationship is done. The relationship is over. And mind you, after that conversation, I think if it wasn't the next day, it was 2 days after, she posted on social media talking about, oh, don't want to be friends with me anymore. Peace sign. See ya. And then I see a picture of her and the new girl, I almost said the new ex-wife, because, oh Jesus, stop it, Leslie, stop it, Leslie, don't be. I see pictures of her and the new wife together hanging out. And when I saw it, I was just like, I already knew, right? But it's still like, wow. And I couldn't even speak. I went into my sister's room and I was like, and she's like, I know. And I was praying you wasn't going to see it, but you saw it. And I just began to, when I tell you, I couldn't even cry, y'all. I just started like, this girl had a special place in my heart. Was everything perfect? No. And God, and I promise you, God had even told me to separate myself from her few years before that even happened, but I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't do it because I was like, God, that's my friend. Why would I do that? I love her. I love her family. I love her children. I call her mom. She called my mom. What are you talking about, Lord? No. And God went, and this was before things even went awry. This was before things even went bad. God was like, it's done. The relationship is done. Sever the ties. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't do it. That don't make sense to me. This is my longest standing friend. We've been friends for over 20 something years. She done seen me through it. I done seen her through it. We done cried. We done prayed. We done this. We done that. This is my dog. That's my, we gonna be ride or die for forever. This is gonna be the type of Thelma and Louise relationship, or when we've been friends for forever, when we blah blah blah. God was like, cut the ties. I didn't cut the ties. Now I see, child, why I should have cut them ties. I would have saved myself a lot of heartache. And I don't know if it's the same for you. Maybe God has told you, let that thing go. If he tells you that about a person, let it go. You don't even need to understand why, because I was looking for a why. I was trying to make it make sense and make it make sense, right, in my head, and it wasn't, and it didn't need to. I just needed to do what God said. I did not. And so now I'm sitting up here, no longer friends. It could have ended amicably. I could have just been like, you know what, I don't know what's going on, but God is saying that right now, or, I'm hearing the Lord say that we need to cut ties. And we could have done so very amicably, and it could have been no bad blood. It ain't nothing now. It's bad blood now. This is not a person that I trust. This is not a person that I want to be around. This is not a person I want to have conversation with. This is a person who is now going to be a bridesmaid in my ex's wedding. Like, now they are already married, but they having a wedding towards the end of the year. She's a bridesmaid in this. Like, but you was my friend. I don't know. To me, it's just crazy. And maybe I'm wrong. Y'all can tell me. I don't care. Tell me. I'm not above reproach. Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. But as a woman of God, there's certain things that I wouldn't do. And if I knew, because she did know that my ex was having an affair with her friend, where everybody was trying to pretend like it wasn't this and that, her and her husband both knew. They knew very well. They were going back, giving them information. God continued to show me dreams throughout the whole process that the four of them were together. He kept showing me them sitting at a table together. People who sit at a table together are like-minded. They have common values or lack of values, morals, characteristics, character, all that type of stuff. God kept showing me them together. God kept telling me, she knew, she knows, they all know. They playing you like a fool. And I didn't want to listen. I get it now, God. If you tell me stop being friends with somebody, they out of there, okay? I'm through with them, okay? Immediately, because I don't want to go through all this. I will tell you the God's honest truth. Knowing that she did this and that she was a part of this and took joy in it, because baby, what the Lord has shown me is that she is without remorse. And I have had several dreams of her demonically attacking me. Anyhow, she took joy in this thing. And if I would have known that when God tells you that a person is jealous of you, you have to believe it. Separate yourself from that person. Let God deal with them however he will, but take yourself out of the equation. When he tells you, even if he doesn't tell you it's due to jealousy, if he just says, I need you to separate from such and such because the relationship is no longer conducive or serving the purpose that I intended it for it to, okay? You two just need to go your separate ways. Then do that thing. And so that way you don't have any issues or any resentment or any offense on the back end. I don't know why she's offended by me. I know why I feel a way towards her, because as a woman of God, ain't no way you can tell me that you knew that my husband was having an affair and you didn't say anything to me. Her husband told her to shut up one time and I went off on him. Might not have been my place, but I read him his rights. You're not going to tell my friend to shut up. And I probably needed to go sit down somewhere and mind my own business. But I didn't like the fact that I felt like he was publicly trying to disrespect her. And he thought it was funny and he was laughing about it. So I wasn't with it, okay? I don't like that type of activity. And so I said what I had to say. I wasn't disrespectful to him, but I had to let him know. That's not what it is over here. Don't talk to my friend like that. So anyhow, I feel like I would have rode for her. I wasn't gonna let anybody disrespect her. And I definitely, if I would have known that her husband was cheating on her, I would have told him up. Okay, that's not the type of stuff. That's not the type of friend that I am. And so for me to find out that this is the type of friend that she ultimately was and is, girl, going back to the top, when I say this on site, I ain't gonna sit up here and lie to y'all. Pray for me, because I feel and then talking about the demon in me was choking her. Girl, I might choke you. It won't be a demon, it'll be me choking you, baby. But you know, part of me is like, girl, your life is so much better without these people. Don't even worry about it. I know at some point I'm going to see her again. I know that I am. And I want to actually and honestly, truthfully be cordial. Hey, how you doing? Good. And keep it moving. And not have any animosity or anything in my heart towards her, because she's not worth it. None of them are worth it. My ex ain't worth it, but I'm gonna tell you, baby, that hurt me to the core when I realized that she was a part of it, because this is somebody who I felt like, if anything, I should have been able to come to my supposed best friend, best friend, and be able to cry on your shoulder, and to know that I actually did cry on your shoulder and poured out my heart, and you took that stuff back like fodder and you gave it to this man, and just, you know what, you that y'all been sent around, because God has allowed me to hear conversations as well, okay? And I've and the things that you all have said, and the lies and the rumors that you all have spread, and who you've tried to make me out to be, man, Lord, I'm gonna leave it in your hands, because it's nothing that I can do with it. It's nothing good will come, because there's no good thing dwell in this flesh, honey. And like I said, Leslie, don't be fleshly. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it, girl. I'm not gonna do it, girl. Don't do it, girl. It's not worth it. Y'all know I love a good rant. I just know that I'm in a much better place in life, okay? Because once upon a time, somebody would have been in jail. Something else would have happened that didn't need to happen. You know, if I was still in the mindset that I was in even a year ago, it's like, be very careful who you call friend. And if God tells you that thing has come to an end, let that thing come to an end. Let that thing come to a head, so you don't end up dead. Okay. Love y'all. I'll be back. Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.